Hi Katrina, good evening, and I hope everyone is well. We're here in Rochestown Lodge Hotel, as you know, Katrina, and I suppose people are asking, you know, why are we here this evening? What are we doing up in Dun Laoghaire again this week? But I mean, the reason is that as people may or may not be aware, Mairéad Tóibín is hosting an evening here in the hotel to talk about where is that COVID vaccine compensation. Where is it? Mairéad is very worried now, and she's really challenging the government now. Where is it? So she's hosting an evening here. It's a public meeting, and we do hope to attend the meeting. And Mairéad is going to discuss this compensation scheme that has been in the pipeline 15 years, I imagine, at this stage. Now, I'm just slightly bemused, Katrina, because we've gone the length and the breadth of the country. We've gone with the excess death campaign, we've gone with our posters, we've gone with our flyers, we've gone with our handouts, we've gone with our public speaking, and we were told all around the country, and including County Meath with the Tóibíns, that there was no such thing as this injection injury, and they were very, very adamant. And all the, all the national media said the same, and local newspapers, including the ones from County Meath, said that there was no such thing. I spoke to people like Gillian O'Toole, who's a pharmacist in County Meath, owns her own pharmacy. 30 years she says she's a pharmacist. She's now also a local county councillor, and she quipped a few weeks ago in the Dáil that she was very concerned that she wasn't getting enough time to speak. Yeah, well, that's absolutely fair enough. And yet she's silent about all the vaccine injured people in her own constituency and all the excess deaths, and indeed, you know, they couldn't honestly say they haven't been given all this data for a very long time. So I suppose, Katrina, what we're here is we're hoping to attend the meeting and see, is there anything new in this? What great schemes now is Mairéad coming up with? What great intentions are moving forward? Because from where I'm standing at the moment, to me this is just another little what would you say, another little night out really for Aontú. So, you know, we can't speak until we find, and we will see how the night goes. I'm sure people are going to have questions, and as I say, my only grimace about the whole thing is, why did they not act on this years ago? Particularly Mairéad, she was a HSE worker, and under the Freedom of Information Act, she will have known that this virus that the HSE could not provide, where the COVID-19 was actually isolated. So if a very, non-medical person like me can understand the Pfizer data, it's very clear, it's actually quite simple. Surely somebody like Mairéad, with all her experience, really what I want to know is, and I really only have one question, when did she know? I don't have any other questions for Mairéad except, when did she know, and when she knew, what did she do about it? So Katrina, look, we're looking forward to the meeting, and I'm sure you, with your experiences of this injection, I'm sure you're more entitled to anybody to be at this meeting and ask your own questions, and hopefully we'll come out of it a little bit more enlightened. But again, as I say, I stay open, but I'm not very hopeful, because if they hid it for so many years or didn't speak about it, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Your silence is your compliance and your complicity. So let's see what this evening unfolds. So thanks, Katrina, and best of luck to everybody good in there. I hope they get their questions answered.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for that.
Here this evening.
Well, we're here today because Mairéad Tóibín is in here, and she's feigning concern for vaccine injured. Now, we have a very extensive letter that we're going to read out here about Mairéad Tóibín and her ties to the pharmaceutical industry. And we're also going to point out that we have notified all the Tóibíns about vaccine damage and vaccine injury and Pfizer's data. So, any suggestion that the people in here today who are saying that they want to get justice for the vaccine injured, that they didn't know for the last 4 years that this injection was killing people, is absolutely absurd. It's absurd to think that Mairéad Tóibín, with her ties to the pharmaceutical industry,
I'm sorry, Barry, just what's her exact role there? She plays a role with the pharma.
A little bit later
yeah,
on,
sure.
Okay, but
yeah.
My point is that she has ties to the pharmaceutical and medical industry. They're all fully aware that this injection has been harming and killing people for years. So we're just out here today to raise our concerns and to speak up for the the hundreds of people that we know who've been injured and bereaved from this injection that have contacted us, small group of people. We're just a small group of people who travel around the country telling people not to take this injection based on data from the pharmaceutical companies themselves. We went around Ireland handing out bits of paper. Everybody in there today was aware of what was on our bits of paper. None of them tried to come into the public space and tell the people that were actually taking the injections to stop taking the injections. It's all right to say, oh, I spoke up. Where did you speak up?
Okay.
Did you speak up to the people that were taking the injection?
Sure.
Or did you speak up to the people that weren't taking the injection? Did you speak up inside an echo chamber where your neighbours didn't hear you or your community didn't hear you? So there's no point in telling me and telling us, oh, I spoke up. We want to know where you spoke up and who heard your voice.
And we can double check it then.
And did you make any effort to bring your voice to the actual people that were taking the injection?
Sure.
Because there's no point in telling me what you know, because I didn't take it.
Sure.
You need to tell your neighbours. Your neighbours are the people that needed to know. And your community. And the people in your GAA community.
Sure.
They're the people that needed to know, not the people that didn't take it. So we have got a letter. We've written a letter. It's just not arrived yet. It's on the way.
That's perfect, Barry.
And it's a letter for Aontú. And our concerns are the things that we have told the Tóibíns over the last 3 or 4 years about this injection. And we've been ignored at every turn. They don't even offer us an email reply.
And more than ignored, we've been vilified and ostracised.
And I would just say as well, we gave Maddie McGrath all this information.
Sure.
We gave Sharon Keown all this information. We've travelled around Ireland. We've been outside dozens of politicians' offices. We've handed all this information to them concerning that this injection, and it was pharmaceutical data that was saying that this injection was not safe. Now, it's up to the politicians, it's up to the medical industry, and it's up to the media industry to keep tabs on a brand new pharma product
100%,
that's been given to millions of people.
Yeah.
It's not up to lay people like us to be looking for Pfizer data.
Yeah.
It's up to the people that coerce the people to take the injection, to track the deaths and injuries from the injection, and to intercede as soon as they find out that there's a problem.
Sure.
It's been known for years that the COVID injections are killing and maiming. For years. So what are we doing here? Are we going to call it all out?
Sure.
Right.
I'm very sorry, just before I just want to confirm, before I left County Meath, I confirmed that I can still walk into a pharmacist today in County Meath, Tóibín territory, and I could take that vaccine today.
Today? I can still get it today.
I'm just confirming that now.
Katrina's father took a few injections and we were giving him all the data and all. And we eventually got him to say he wasn't going to take it. One text from his doctor was enough for that man to say, no, I better go in and take the injection. That's the stranglehold that the doctors have on the people of Ireland. We gave him all the data. He started to see that there was a problem. And one text from a doctor, and that was enough to get him back out. That's the power that the doctors have over the people in Ireland. You know, I am going to read a letter as soon as the letter arrives, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Tóibíns and the information that we have been given to Tóibíns for the last 3 or 4 years. And under no circumstances are we accepting some type of a whitewash or a cover-up or some type of suggestion that, there's going to be a compensation scheme. A vaccine compensation scheme has been promised to the people of Ireland for 15 years now. That was already coming. There was already a compensation scheme coming. So, if they want to present themselves as heroes of this compensation scheme, is it going to be the same as the one in England, where no one can get it?
This meeting, it would be nice to get a legal expert here, but I had difficulty in doing so. But I contacted Michael Boylan's solicitors, and they took the cases in the pandemics inquiry. And a partner there spoke with me very freely today, and she said that to take a case against a manufacturer of any drug, vaccine or any drug, it could take a decade to resolve. All right? Remember, it's perfectly legal for medicine to cause harm. So proof of a case, in those cases, you would have to show that some impropriety occurred along the way. In other words, that some procedure wasn't followed. If you suffer from a recognised vaccine, can I take questions at the end? Do you mind?
No, this is important. I just want to know, did you ever administer or dispense COVID-19 vaccine as a pharmacist?
No. I work in a nursing home, so it wasn't something that I could have volunteered, but no, I wasn't volunteered. So I'm saying there, so really the legal route for somebody to make a personal claim, it's just against a manufacturer, is just like David and Goliath, it's not. But we have, we would hope that our regulatory authority would, if enough instances of adverse claims came, that they would pull it, like they did in the pandemic's case. That vaccine was taken off the market. So those likely to, this was the advice I was given today by this partner in Michael Boylan's solicitors, that those likely to succeed in a personal injury case against the state are healthcare workers who suffered injury because they may have been pressurised by their employers to take, and therefore their consent is not on a sound footing.
The whole country was
You could say that.
told
yes.
no. The whole
But
country.
she did distinguish. She said taking a vaccine just to travel, like so many of our young people did,
Or to get into a
would
pub,
weaken-
the vaccine
or to
passport.
get into a pub. But that would weaken your case because then you didn't have to, that's just the legal thing there. So those who suffered too from boosters or late vaccinations also have a better case. Because the suggestion in this is that we're no longer in a pandemic, therefore the benefit risk balance has shifted and the state's liability has shifted as well. So that's just, I know many people suffered with dose 1, dose 2, but at this late stage, the vaccine program is still going on. Injuries at this stage then have a better chance of success.
Did the government know about Pfizer data that was brought out in 2021?
Can I take that question afterwards? I mean, I have no idea, to be honest. I thought the government knew or didn't know, but I also contacted there is one other solicitor, Liam Maloney in Naas, and he has taken 30 cases to the state's claims agency. I told him I was, and he wouldn't speak to me. So there's obviously even a difficulty within the legal profession in dealing with this.
Did you know about the Pfizer data?
No.
But you were given it, Aontú was given it in 2021.
I personally didn't read it. Okay.
You didn't read it?
Do you mind
You're a
if I-
pharmacist.
Yeah, but anyway, we can see the difficulties with our regulatory. The problem for me in a lot of this is the difficulties it is to record adverse events, right, with our regulatory system. They're very slow to collect or respond to vaccine injuries, and the legal system accepts adverse effects of vaccines, and they're only looking for cases where there was some other impropriety done. So the solution for all those suffering from an injury associated with the vaccine is a vaccine injury compensation scheme. This is critically important. We have been promised it, and it's urgent. The value of such a scheme, apart from compensating people in a small way for the harms they have suffered, is that it focuses the mind. It acknowledges injuries, and also rising costs will again force the mind and prompt some action. So before I go any further, I want to hear from people who have agreed to speak to me today about their particular situation, and then we will discuss at the end what we would like to do following this.
Can I just ask a quick question? In 2020 and 23rd of December 2020, there was a freedom of information. You said you worked for the HSE 15 years, was it? You worked for the HSE?
I'm working for, yes.
Yeah, well, in 2020, 23rd of December 2022, in the 23rd of December 2020, there was a freedom of information sent to the HSE asking have they ever isolated the virus. And still to this day, there's no country that's ever isolated the virus. And it was given back here the information saying from the HSE saying that they haven't ever isolated the virus. So I want to ask you, as someone who worked for the HSE for 15 years,
I'm not privy to
how,
answer the question.
Excuse me, how would you not know if you are a pharmacist for 15 years and like from the HSE themselves, they said that they've never isolated the virus. And then you also said that you've never received the Pfizer data, which the Pfizer data was given to each member of the government by WakeUpéiRe.
Okay, can I just answer that? I work in a pharmacy in the HSE. I'm not privy to freedom of information requests. I don't.
So what's this vaccine compensation scheme about? What is it? Is there going to be a scheme? Are they going to challenge the ruling already that's in place that says that it's too late to get money? So we're not going to have our outrage watered down as to what went on with this injection. 4 million people were put into a medical trial that they did not need to go into. And we now have 25,000 excess deaths. And we're somehow not allowed to ask. We're just not allowed to ask. Has the medical trial that 4 million people went into got anything to do with the 25,000 excess deaths? a medical trial with stuff that has never been used on humans before, and it should never have been used because nobody actually needed to take one in the first place. We want real justice. We want it all on the table. The fraudulent PCR test, the contracts with the government that they weren't allowed to advertise over-the-counter medicines for whatever COVID-19 was. And I would just like to add, no scientist can tell us show us a picture of COVID-19 because they haven't actually isolated it. So what are we doing in here? Are we having are we having a whitewash? Or are we going to have it all on the table? All of the horror on the table? Because that's the only thing that's going to satisfy us.
Very well said, Barry.
The leaders of the world, we say be warned. Hell hath no fury like a people scorned. And oh, change is coming.